It started to happen gradually. I would walk into a room and say something, and no one would notice. I would say, "Turn the TV down, please," and nothing would happen. So I would say it louder, "Turn the TV down, please." Finally, I would have to go myself and turn the TV down. Then I started to notice elsewhere. One day, my husband and I were at a party for about 3 hours, and I was ready to leave. I turned around and looked at him, and I went to see him. He was talking with one of his friends from work. So I went and I walked, and then he didn't even turn to look at me. He kept right on talking to his friend from work. That's when I realized he can't see me. I'm invisible. I'm invisible. And it happened to go over and over again. I noticed it more and more often. I would take my son to school, and his teacher would say, "Jake, who's that with you?" And he would say, "Nobody." Nobody? Granted, he's only 5 years old, but nobody? One night, a couple of friends gathered to celebrate the return of one of our friends that came from England. She had taken this fabulous trip, and she was going on and on over the fabulous trip she had and over all the hotels she stayed in. As I was sitting, I looked at the women at the table. I started thinking to myself, I had put on makeup in the car on my way there. I had an old dress because that was the only thing I had cleaned. And I had my unwashed hair pulled up in a banana clip. And I was feeling pretty darn pathetic. That's when my friend Janice turned around and looked at me, and she said, "I brought you this. It's a gift." It was a book. It's a book about the great cathedrals of Europe. I didn't understand. But I looked at it. I opened it, and there was an inscription. It said, "With admiration for the greatness of what you're building when no one sees." You can't name the names of the builders. Over and over I looked at it, at this mammoth work. I scanned down to look for the names of the builders, and it would say, "Builder unknown, unknown, unknown." There's a story of one of the builders who said that he was carving a tiny bird at the inside of a beam, where later it will be covered over by a roof. And someone had asked him, "Why are you spending so much time on something no one else will ever see?" And it was replied that the builder said, "Because God sees." They trusted that God saw everything. Day after day, they worked hard. They didn't even know if this was going to ever finish, but they worked to build all these beautiful cathedrals. Day after day. Some of these cathedrals took over 100 years to be built. That's more than one working man's lifetime. Day after day, they sacrificed with no credit. One writer even goes so far to say there will be no more great cathedrals built because of so few people that are willing to sacrifice to that degree. I closed the book, and it was as if I heard God say to me, "Liz, I see you. You are not invisible to me. No sacrifice is too small for me to not notice. I see every cupcake you bake, every sequin sewn on, and I smile at every single one of them. I see every tear of disappointment when things don't go the way you want them to. But remember, you are building a great cathedral. You may not see it in your lifetime, and sadly, You might not even live there. But if you build it well, I will. At times, my invisibility felt like an affliction to me. But it is not a disease that is erasing my life. It's a disease of self-centeredness. It's the antidote to my own pride. It's okay if my sons don't see it. I don't want my sons to come from college and tell me, you're not going to believe what my mom does. She stays late helping us to finish our projects, and then she wakes up early in the morning. She makes our breakfast. She cooks before she goes to work. She does laundry. She pays the bills. No, I don't want them to say that. Even if I do those things, all I want them is to want to come home. But most important, I want them to tell their friends, come to my home. You're going to love it there. We don't work only for our sons, for our children. We work for someone greater than us. We work for God. We sacrifice for Him. It's okay if our sons don't look at it. Not if we do it right. Not if we do it well. To all the invisible mothers who sacrifice, who have unconditional love, let us pray that our work will stand as a monument to an even greater God. Happy Mother's Day.